Hi there, Hans Schaff here. I want to let you know about a new article I've created here about creating wealth, titled "The Three Ways You Can Gain Control in These Uncertain Times." It's about building business. And I want to kind of go through a few of these, kind of highlight a few sections of this article because I think there's some really good content in here that I created. It's a little over 1,000 words, so I've put some research and some quite a bit of thought into developing this article to kind of really give people an understanding of what options you have available today. If you've got those dreams and goals in the back of your mind, something that you've always wanted to do, but you've been stuck, whether you were stuck in a dead-end job, or you just couldn't get the job that you were looking for, or you got laid off. Maybe you lost your retirement. You worked for 20, 30 years of your life, and all of a sudden, the last couple of years, you just saw your retirement, your 401k, perhaps slashed or maybe completely emptied out. There's been a lot of difficult times for a lot of people here recently. The good news is there are a couple different options still available for the majority of people, and that's what I want to go through with you in this article today. So look in the bottom of this video. You'll see in the description tag, you'll be able to click on the link. That's going to take you straight to this article where you can read all about it. But I'll highlight just a few more key issues here in this article that's going to really help you out. Number one option for some people, if first of all, let's be clear that if you're someone who's just lost their job and you're looking for another opportunity, something that you can do to be able to kind of get back on your feet and get making money again, well, chances are that there's not a whole lot of jobs out there. They say the unemployment rate is around 9%. Those are the government figures. But if you go to shadowstats.com, you'll get a whole different picture. He tracks the actual unemployment rates, the actual money supply figures. Great information there if you want to check that out. But one thing you'll see for sure is the unemployment rate. The actual number is closer to about 22 or 23%. Unfortunately, the government doesn't take into consideration the people who have stopped looking for work, the discouraged workers, and those who are on unemployment after so much period of time. They also get kicked off that number as well. So kind of skewed numbers, but hey, that's the government for you, right? Anyway, let's move along here. What I want to talk about is, first of all, the number one option. If you've been someone who's lucky enough, or I should say smart and hardworking enough, to have been able to set aside a pretty good chunk of money, you may be able to simply live off the interest on your income, on your asset there. Problem is today, interest rates are really low, so you're going to have quite a bit of money to really be able to live off that money. Not to mention the fact that between inflation and taxes, most of that's going to be eaten up, and you're actually going to be losing quite a bit of money and getting behind rather than thinking that you're actually going to be able to live off that interest. So that may not be the best option for most people. So let's scroll down a little bit further here and give you option number one. Business option, building a business, of course, is how the richest people in the world, the top 1% in the world, that's how they created their wealth. When you think about Bill Gates, who's the number one richest person in the world, what has he done? He's built and created, founded Microsoft. You've got Steve Jobs of Apple, also a billionaire. What has he done? Of course, he started Apple Computers. Warren Buffett, what does he do? He's got a business of investing. He's created a lot of money, been smart, and manages lots of different businesses where people can invest into them, buying shares and things, and he's done very well with that. So, the number one way that people have made money and become wealthy is through building businesses. Okay. Now let's take a look at the different options that you have for building a business. There's three options. I'm only going to go through two of them. You'll have to go to the article to actually read business building option number 3, which I feel is the best option. Probably the one for most people, about 95% of the population. They'll be able to get that business building option started right away. Now, business building option number 1, this is the conventional brick and mortar type business. The downside is you're going to have quite a bit of money, not as much as option 2, the franchise, but you are going to have to put in quite a bit of investment. There's a steep learning curve, especially if you've never done any kind of business work in your past. But the other downside is that a lot of these businesses fail in their first 10 years. And I think that it's something like 90% of businesses fail in their first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So you got to take that into consideration if you're going to go that route. You may think you have a great idea, but a business is more than just an idea. You've got to have, leadership. You've got to have systems. You got to have a mission statement. You got to have a board of directors. You got to have so many different components. Really the product is about the smallest piece of the puzzle. You got to have everything else in place to really make sure you're successful. So that's a risky venture. Some people are able to be successful starting that direction, but just realize that a lot of people fail within their first 10 years, and you don't want to be another statistic there either. Option number 2 is the franchise model. Again, TCBY Yogurt, KFC, Subway, McDonald's is one that most people are familiar with. McDonald's is going to cost you anywhere from $1 million to $1.2 million just to have the rights to be able to say that you have a McDonald's. To get the golden arches, you got to pay $1.2 million. In addition to the real estate, the location that you got to pay the rent, or you got to pay the mortgage for that property. You got to build the building. You got to buy all the supplies and all the materials. So it's a great model. It's a very successful model in the fact that you're paying that $1 million for the system. And the system is very successful, and that's what they've been able to do, is basically allow you to buy a part of their business system. They give you the road and the path to run on. As long as you follow directions and you follow the process, it's not going to happen overnight. Of course, nothing that's legitimate and worthwhile ever does, but it will take quite an investment of money, time, energy, and commitment to be able to see that through. But in time, a couple years down the road, you will look back and you'll think, wow, this is incredible. You'll be making several $100,000 a year, be able to set up a second, third, fourth, fifth franchise. That's what ends up happening for a lot of people who get into franchises. But again, for the majority of people, if you don't have $1 million lying around, I'd say 95% of the population, it's not going to be an option for them, along with business building option number 1. So what can 95% of the population, what can the majority of people, really get into, sink their teeth in, and really have success with, basically from the beginning with this, not as large a steep of a learning curve, not as big of an expense. What is that option, business building option number 3, that the more common, the average everyday person can kind of get involved in and still be able to create huge profits and really be able to go after their goals and dreams? I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to go read the article. Where can you find it? Again, below this video, you should see a little description area. Click on that link. It'll take you straight to the article, and you can read all the whole background of the article and find out more about business building option 1, 2, and of course 3. Hope that helps. Hope you're able to take that and take it to the bank, make some money with it, and we'll see you on the next article. Take care.